We do.
Thank you, John. I take over with pride and honor.
Thanks.
I take over charge of the European Union military staff under your direction.
Hello, I'm Isabelle Huillet.
And I'm Danny Rothberg.
We have the pleasure of interviewing today Lieutenant General Wolfgang Wosolsobe, newly appointed Director of EU Military Staff. Lieutenant General, good morning. Thanks for being here. Could you please tell us, as a way of introduction for our colleagues, a bit about your military career and also about your personal life?
Good morning. Thank you for being with me here today. I started my career in Austria. I am Austrian. I'm from Vienna. As an infantry officer, that's army. I continued my career in Austria until the Austrian General Staff training, and was then called to go to France to do the French École de Guerre, which is a high-level joint training, and that was a real addition to what I have already studied in Austria. And continued then, after some periods, as a strategic planner in the Austrian Ministry of Defense with international assignments. The first one was in Geneva with the Austrian mission to the Conference on Disarmament. At that time it was very much about chemical and biological weapons, I remember. And then a bilateral experience with France, where I was defense attaché for a period of time. I had my command period, and then I re-entered the world of the multilateral and Pol Mil area, in which I am still here in a way. And I did that until the Austrian presidency of the Council in 2006, where I was responsible for the Ministry of Defense in the military dimension of that presidency. Then I became a military representative to the EU and NATO as a partner country, of course. And I took over 2 months ago, so I am now really up to speed, I hope. You don't have very much time to come to speed in that kind of activity. You asked me about my personal background. In my infantry time, which is quite a long time ago, I was a lot in the mountains, so I try to go back there from time to time. These occasions are not that frequent, unfortunately. Our sons like that as well, which is good. And we have them still here in Brussels, 2 of them, and we enjoyed the life in Brussels very, very much.
Lieutenant General, as Isabel just mentioned, you've just started your term as Director General of the EEAS. What challenges do you foresee over the next few years?
I think there are no specific challenges for the EEAS. There are the same challenges as we have for the EU as a whole, and particularly for the PSDC crisis management part. We are facing a volatile, complex, multifaceted future in terms of risk and threats, and we have to answer that in the appropriate way. The real challenge for the staff is here to manage information and to manage communication. I have here, and that's really my pride, to have that opportunity to command over a staff of 200 military experts coming from all EU member states. So that's a very broad knowledge base. I'm glad to have that, but to get the right knowledge at the right moment to the right persons, that's a challenge, and that's a day-to-day challenge I'm going to manage over the coming 3 years together with my staff. We are still in the process of integration. In that sense, as the European External Action Service is a very young service still. It's, I would say, institutionally speaking, the youngest part of our EU family. So that child is growing, and we are one arm or whatever of that young person. So we need to fit even better into that and to discover what that larger entity needs from us, what they expect from us, what we can deliver. So this is a challenge as well, but it's a very positive challenge. And I am, and my staff as well, we are glad to take it on.
Capability development is an important task for the EEAS and of course for the EU Military Committee and EU military staff. Are we going in the right direction?
When it comes to capabilities, and particularly military capabilities, you never exactly know what is the right direction, because we have capabilities which have a life expectancy of decades. Our environment is changing much faster than that. So we cannot buy, we cannot purchase new equipment now and be sure that it's the right equipment 30 years later. Capability development is therefore a permanent planning process and permanent process of analysis. We have new challenges which were described already in the version of the European Security Strategy of 2008, which is cyber, which is energy, which is climate change, which is consequences of destabilization, also and particularly in our neighborhood. So we have to adapt to this. I would say, to sum up, generally, taking all these factors into account, yes, we go into the right direction, but to keep the right direction is always a new challenge.
This December will see the European Council meeting on security and defence. How will this conference advance CSDP?
I hope very much. I have great expectations from that council, and I think also that already now, in the run-up to the council delivers a first effect in triggering processes of reflection and analysis in capitals, in delegations here. So that's already very positive. I hope that the Council will be able to bring a very strong message back home to the Member States, to the broader audience in Member States, about the importance of security, about the importance of the military dimension of security, of PSDC. I also expect from that Council, from the key messages, some simple explanations about PSDC for a broader public that would help very much to motivate Member States and the public in Member States to contribute to our common effort, particularly on the military side. There are different layers of expectations as well. We have some concrete, more or less concrete projects on capabilities, which we try to prepare for the Council. Not everything will be taken up by the Council, but it is there, and it will be there, and it will be continued afterwards. And we have particular expectations also in the context of our defense industry. We need to support the European defense industry. We need to create the right conditions for its competitiveness, and it is expected that the Council, particularly through a communication from the Commission, will contribute to that effort in particular. All that comes together to European security. I hope that the general message of that Council would be for the European citizens that security matters, and security is much more than what's going on in the immediate neighborhood of Europe, but also a bit farther away. We have to look in the wider neighborhood. And if that Council brings additional incentives to contribute also to our action in that broader neighborhood, then it would be a real success.
The term comprehensive approach is used almost in the same breath as when we mention CSDP. Why is it so important?
It is important because it brings to bear what the European Union can do best. It is bringing together the large array of instruments the European Union has at its disposal for international external action, not only for crisis management. In the entire spectrum, reaching from conflict prevention through crisis management into post-conflict state building and then development in the longer horizon, we need this variety of instruments. What comes with that is comprehensive setting of objectives and goals, comprehensive action, comprehensive analysis. All this is not easy. We have to build that. We are in the process of building it. I could have added that to our challenges at the very beginning. It is also, again, bringing the right piece of knowledge, the right piece of expertise to the interlocutors who need it most in a given moment in that process, from conflict prevention to development. This is comprehensiveness. This is true here in Brussels, in the institutions, and this is also true in the field. We have areas where we have 2 or 3 missions and operations in parallel in the same wider area. One excellent example for that is the Horn of Africa, where we have 1 operations, 1 military training mission and 1 civilian mission. We need to bring these even more closely together and to create a common effect. That's comprehensiveness. And it goes beyond the means of CSDP. We have, again, in the Horn of Africa, a host of activities which are triggered and borne by the Commission in the area of development, in the area of humanitarian aid. All that comes together to a common picture and is all oriented towards one common objective. It is to help these countries, to stabilize countries, and doing so enhancing the security of the European Union.
And one final question. You've devoted your career to bringing European countries together. Indeed, you won the Legion d'Honneur as part of that. Which European figure has inspired you throughout your career?
Jean Monnet. Very clearly. I read and reread his memoirs and the biography, and I would say he is really the starting point, or one essential starting point of what we are doing here today. Of course, his message, and it's not the detail of his message, it's the spirit he brought to Europe, needs to be addressed regularly afresh. We need a fresh impetus, we need a fresh interpretation of what he did and built for Europe. But I think his dedication to Europe, his dedication to the idea of peace in Europe, his dedication to the idea of Europe bringing peace around Europe is still absolutely valid, and we should build on it and continue.
Lieutenant General Wosolsobe, we thank you for taking the time out to discuss with our colleagues today on EEAS TV. We hope to welcome you back soon.
It will be my real pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.